Hey everybody, this is Bob KK4DIV. I've had some questions about DMR and specifically about how to create a code plug for your DMR radio. Now when I first got into DMR, making a code plug was something that seemed like a very daunting task and something I was honestly kind of afraid of, but I found out that once you do it a couple times and once you understand the process, it's not really all that difficult. So today I'm going to share how to make a code plug. And yeah, I know there's probably a ton of videos out there on YouTube about how to make a code plug. There's probably some that are going to be better than this one, but you know, this is the KK4DIV way and I just wanted to share it with everybody today. Alright folks, the code plug we're going to be making today is going to be for the Anytone 878 radio, and we've already opened up the software on the screen here. So this is the D878UV software, and but first, before we get into making the code plug, we need to know what talk groups we want to have. So we're going to go to the web, and we're going to be making a code plug using the TGIF talk group, or the TGIF network, and we're going to be using a hotspot. So this will be a little bit different if you're going to be using a repeater or if you're using the Brandmeister network, but the procedures are going to be very similar. So we want to pick a couple of talk groups that we're going to look at. So I've brought up the TGIF network website. It's tgif.network. We're going to go to the talk groups tab at the top, and and it gives you a list of all the talk groups. Now, if you click on one, it will give you a brief description, about it. Sometimes they have a description. This one did not. But let's go down. First, I'm going to pick a talk group, and I'm going to pick talk group 850, and that is Florida Panhandle Rag Chew. And so on this one, when you click on it, you can see a little bit of information there about the talk group. This is a talk group that I spend a fair amount of time on. Florida Panhandle Rag Chew, right there. It's talk group 850. So I'm just going to jot down 850. The other talk group I want to add into my radio will be the TGIF talk group, which is talk group 31665 here. And this is kind of the flagship talk group, I guess you could say, of the TGIF network. It's where a lot of people gather. There's a net every Friday night. So these are two talk groups I'm going to add to my code plug, and I think that's going to be enough for demonstration purposes. You can add as many talk groups as you want. As a matter of fact, I've created a import file that I'm going to post up on Patreon, where you can actually upload all the talk groups into your radio. And I'm going to have that available, like I said, on my Patreon for my patrons if they wish to get that file. You can import it into the Anytone software and just upload all the talk groups if you want to do that. But we're just going to pick these two talk groups, and I'm going to show you how to enter these in manually today. So we're going to go back to my Anytone software here. The first thing you want to do when you open up your software and you have a blank slate, basically, is you're going to want to click this little digital tab over here and expand this. And then you're going to want to go to your radio ID, and you're going to want to assign your radio ID. That will be your DMR ID number, and if you haven't got a DMR ID number, go on the web and get one. You can Google search DMR ID, and you can get one. So mine is 3112875, and then I'm just going to call my radio KK4DIV. So you can see once you hit OK, it populates right there. And then next we're going to go to the talk group tab, and we're going to add these two talk groups into the system or into this software. So the first line up here, you see it's already got kind of a dummy talk group. We're just going to double click on that and override it. So I'm going to call my first one Florida Panhandle, and the DMR ID is going to be 850. We're going to leave the group call type as group call, and we're not going to select any alert, and we're going to hit OK, and that one is in there. The next one is going to be TGIF. We're going to tab down to the DMR ID line. That's going to be 31665. If you had more, you could just keep hitting next and we'll go to the next line. So if I hit next, you see it goes up here in line 2, and then we're working on line 3. But that's all I have, so I'm just going to hit cancel. I'm just going to enter those 2 talk groups in right now. Alright, so the next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to create a receive group call list. Now a receive group call list is what groups you want to be able to listen to on any given channel. So every channel is going to have a receive group call list. Now I'm going to back up a moment because I forgot one thing about these talk groups. When you're operating with an open spot, it will give voice announcements on a certain talk group. So we want to add that talk group in here as well. And that's going to be talk group 9. So we'll double click this, and I'm going to call this local, and we're going to give this talk group 9. Because all the announcements that my open spot gives, such as, you know, open spot connected or disconnected, those will come through talk group 9, and I want to be able to hear those announcements. So we've got 850, 31665, and talk group 9. So let's go back to receive group call list, and we're going to create a receive group for each channel we create. We haven't got to channels yet, but we'll get there in just a moment. So we're going to make this receive group 850. We're going to add my Florida Panhandle and my local talk group. That way when I create a channel for my 850 talk group, I will be able to listen to the 850 talk group as well as those voice announcements. So we have a receive group for that channel. We're going to hit next because we want to add one more. I'm going to call this one 31665. And we're going to add TGIF as well as the local talk group, and we're going to hit OK. So I have 2 receive groups, one for 850 and one for 31665. Now we're going to want to go up here underneath this public area and click on channel. So it's already got a couple channels made here, but we're just going to overwrite these. So we're going to double click on the first line. We're going to call this first channel 850 FL Panhandle. So we know that this is going to be, you can call it whatever you want, but I want to know that it's the 850 talk group Florida Panhandle. My receive frequency is, let's see, 446.500. That's what my hotspot is set to. And the transmit is going to be 446.500. We're going to leave this on digital. I'm going to change my transmit power to low because when you're working with a hotspot, you're usually close by to it. You don't need to be using a lot of power. We're going to leave the color code and the slot alone. Color code 1, slot 1 is what the hotspot uses. We're going to select a receive group list, and that's what we just created. So we're going to want to use the receive group for 850. And that's it. We're done. We can hit next. We're going to go to the next channel, channel 2. I'm going to call this channel 31665 TGIF. Receive frequency 446.500. Now your receive and transmit frequency may be different than mine, but this is what mine is. Leave it digital. We're going to change the transmit power to low. We're going to make your contact TGIF. And we're going to change the receive group to 31665 and OK. So the first channel, we left the contact alone with Florida Panhandle. That's going to be the 850 group call. We wanted to make sure that, you know, this channel matches that. And on my next one, 31665 TGIF matches TGIF. That's the way when you key up, it's going to go to that contact. It's going to go to that group call, the TGIF. So make sure you have that set to the one you want. And your receive group list is going to be 31665. So it's going to receive calls from that group. As well as when we created that receive group list, we added the local group as well, Talk Group 9, so we can hear the announcements from the hotspot if we have any. So we're going to hit OK. We've got those two in there, and we're going to add a couple more. I want to add a couple of analog frequencies as well. So I'm going to add my local repeater, W4RYZ, and we're going to put 145.210, and the transmit is 144.610. So you have to manually put in your offsets when you're making a code plug for this radio. I'm not sure if all DMR radios are that way, but it doesn't do the automatic offset that I know of. Could be wrong. Let's see, we're going to change the channel type to analog. We're going to make the transmit power mid. And you can change this on the radio at any time, but for this purpose, for the code plug, I want it to default to mid because I think that's adequate for getting into the local repeater. Not that far away from it. We're going to put in our CTCSS tones. We have one on decode and encode, and they're both 100 Hertz. So we'll select 100 Hertz. And I believe that is everything for that. So we're going to click next. I want to add another channel in here for analog, and I'm just going to put this analog simplex. And we're going to do 146.520, 146.520, and change this to analog. We're going to leave it on high on this one. Again, like I said, you can change it at any time, and we're not going to put any kind of code, decodes, or anything like that in there. And we're going to hit OK. So now I have 4 channels I've created, and I think that's going to be enough for this demonstration. So the last thing you're going to want to do, and this is completely optional, is, or you have to create a zone. You have to create at least one zone, and you can put all your channels in one zone, but I like to divvy my channels up. So I'm going to double click this zone. I'm going to call this TGIF. So I'm going to have a TGIF zone. And I'm going to add my 2 talk groups in there. And I'm going to hit next. And I'm going to make an analog zone with my 2 analog frequencies and hit OK. And you can change this up any way you want, but that's how I'm going to do it for this demonstration. I just want to keep this demonstration quick and easy for you folks. So once you've got that, that's pretty much all you need to do for a basic code plug, something that gets you on the air. There's a few things you'll probably want to do as well as get you a digital contact list. But for getting on the air, this is as simple as it needs to be. I'll cover some of the other stuff in a future video, but now we want to program the radio. So you got your programming cable. I'm going to plug this into a USB port. We're going to plug this into the radio. Hear my computer go ding-a-ling. Lets us know it's plugged in. I'm going to go up here to the top. I'm going to select, you can do this up here with these buttons. You can set the COM port here. It's going to be COM 16, COM 3, and COM 4 for my bulletin board and rig control. So I know those are not it. It's COM 16. We're going to hit OK. You can also do it from this little button right here. That will also do the same thing. And then This little one that looks like an arrow going into the radio. That's write to radio. We're going to click that. It says write data to radio. Do you wish to continue? We're going to say OK. We're going to leave it on other data because we didn't insert a digital contact list. So we're just going to do other data. That's going to get this code plug into the radio. We're going to hit OK. And this goes fairly quick. This is a lot quicker than my Islands HD1 radio when it comes to inserting the data to the radio. So it's already done. It says write data completed. I can hit OK. The radio is booting. I can disconnect. Close my little flap. And if you can see that, it says Florida Panhandle Rag Chew. There, that is the talk group we are on now. I can change zones by hitting this down arrow. And now we're on W4RYZ analog. So the squelch is not set. The squelch is wide open. So we can go down to settings, go to radio set, go to Anna squelch level, select, we're going to change it to 1, and the squelch is set to the lowest setting. It's good enough. So, alright, so we're going to go back to Florida Panhandle. We're going to go back to the computer here. We're going to bring up the website. We're going to go to Active Talkers. So this will show all the active talkers on here. And we're going to just do a quick key and see if we can link to the Florida Panhandle. There I am, Florida Panhandle Rag Chew. I just linked up to it. KK4DIV testing. And you can see it changed green when I was talking. So we are on the TGIF network and everything looks like it's working. Well folks, as you can see, making a code plug really isn't all that difficult for your DMR radio. We use the TGIF talk group here. The reason I use that is because I like this network. I think it's a fantastic network. It's growing. They're actually working to update the servers, so things are always getting better on the TGIF network. There's some great folks on there, and people are always willing to help if you have any questions. Another reason I like the TGIF network is because we kind of have our own little area cut out for us, the 850 talk group, which is for Northwest Florida. So if you live in Northwest Florida and some of my local ham watchers are watching this video and you're getting into DMR, get on the TGIF network and come see us and talk to us on the 850 talk group. But really, it's not that hard to create a code plug if you just remember a few key things. Number one is know what talk groups you want to program. Make sure you have a DMR ID, and if you haven't, you can Google search how to get a DMR ID. It's not hard. You're going to want to add those talk groups into your code plug. You're going to want to create a receive group list for your talk group, as well as if you have an open spot, you want to probably add the talk group 9 so you can hear those announcements. You're going to want to create a channel for each one of the talk groups you want to listen to, and in that channel, remember to select your contact would be your talk group you want to transmit to, and then your receive group list is the receive group you want to listen to. So there's a couple things on that channel you want to remember. And then lastly, you're going to want to create a zone. You can make one zone with all your talk groups, all your channels, or you can be like me and divide it up. My actual code plug I use, I think I have 4 or 5 different zones. I have a TGIF zone, I have an analog zone, I've got a Bay County Aries zone for my Bay County frequencies for Aries. If we're doing training or something, I have those programmed in a separate zone. So I've got several different zones, and you can do the same on your radio, or you can keep it simple and just throw everything in one zone if that's what you want to do. But I hope this helped. I hope this made made the point that creating a code plug really isn't all that complicated, and anybody can do it. If I can figure out how to do it, I think you can as well. So I hope this helped. If you have any questions or any comments, please leave them down in the comments section below. I try to answer any questions I can. I'm not the expert on everything, so there's a lot of things I don't know, and there may be some questions I can't answer. But I'll be honest with you about it. I'll tell you I don't know. Maybe I'll try to find the answer if I can, but I'm always willing to help. That's my point. So I'd like to thank everybody for watching my video. If you like what you see, please subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up. I have a Patreon page where I post some things for my patrons only. One of them is going to be the contact list that you can import into your code plug if you want all of the talk groups for TGIF. And I'll make a video on how to import things like that in the future as well. But I'd like to thank everybody for watching. Hope to catch you in a future video, and until next time everybody, we'll say 73. This is Bob KK4DIV. Bye-bye.